Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of News in Motion. It is a brand new week, and today is Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024. How was everyone's weekend and Monday? Hope you had a safe and wonderful weekend. I know me personally, we celebrated my little brother's birthday. Um, he turned 19, so happy belated birthday to you, my brother Isaac Jones. Um, but how was everyone's weekend? How was everybody's Monday? Hope you are staying warm. The temperatures are starting to warm up just a little bit, but it is still cold out there. So make sure that you are bundled up and make sure that you are staying safe on the roads. Here on News in Motion today is That's Happening Tuesday. So if you're ready for That's Happening Tuesday, be sure to let us know in the chat. Also, be sure to have your pen and paper ready. I see our YouTube viewers coming up in here this morning. Y'all had us a little worried. You know, usually y'all come in real early, come in at about 6:15, 6:45. Not the crack of dawn, but y'all joining up in here. I see Miss Kim Emerson joining in through YouTube. Good morning, Miss Adrian, also tuning in through YouTube. Good morning, Miss Jackie, tuning in through YouTube as well. Good morning, Miss Deborah Johnson, who's tuning in through Facebook. Good morning, Miss Marian Jackson, tuning in through YouTube. And good morning, Miss Yvonne Garner, tuning in through YouTube as well. We can be found on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, or any audio and podcast platforms. So, with that being said, y'all know what we do over here. Let's get ready for some news in motion.
News in motion.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I am laughing at Isaiah. He's in there jamming. I was like, all right, party over here. That's what I'm talking about. Good morning to everyone. I think he left off with Yvonne Gardner. So good morning, Robert Holman. I see you, Stephanie Burbridge Hall, Dr. Antoinette, Regina Shorts, Deborah Johnson. Hey, let's see. Kim Edmonds says, in the words of our host, YouTube is straight fire. Y'all are. We were sitting there like, there's nobody on YouTube yet. That's not normal. Like, where are they? Are they okay? Because we're used to seeing y'all come in here before we go live. So we're just really excited about all of it. How was your weekend? How was your weekend? How was your weekend? This is That's Happening Tuesday, and there is a lot that is happening. As y'all know, our new format, we're trying to not hit all the headlines. We're trying to zone in on certain things. And so that's what we're going to do. I see you, Shirley Nicholson, coming in here as well. Listen, y'all, the town halls are straight fire. Y'all were up in here. The questions, the comments, the questions afterwards, the suggestions for next topics. I said, oh, we on to something with this town hall. Let me know in the chat if you do, in fact, enjoy the town hall, or if we're just maybe excited about it on the advisory team side, and we're like, yeah, this is the way we got to go. Let us know if you enjoy that. And also, if you have any topics, put them in there. We also enjoy the fact that we're three of us and not just me or not just me and another person. So let us know your thoughts on that as well. And of course, we went right at an hour. We were shy 33 seconds from an hour, but none of y'all were leaving. So I think y'all enjoyed that too. Okay, y'all, today is Tuesday, January the 23rd. 2024, and it is the New Hampshire primary. That is happening today. Kim Edmondson says town hall is awesome. Marion Jackson said absolutely enjoyed the town hall. Yay! I'm so happy. Do us a favor, y'all. Tag a friend. Share this, tell people to come on in here. And today I'm just going to be nice. So if you have anything that you want to share in the chat, do so. If it's your business, a company, somebody you want to talk about, highlight, you can do that today in the chat. Now, if you do that, you also have to share News in Motion and the work that we are doing. I see y'all coming in here. All right, I want to start at a different direction this morning. I want to talk about an epic failure. And I'm talking about Kite Baby. I'm sure y'all have heard this already. It's a company out of Texas who fired an employee who she and her partner adopted a baby, and the baby was only a pound. So the baby was in NICU, and so she wasn't ready to return because she wanted to spend time with her baby in NICU. So it went viral on TikTok. Man, Adrian, you turned me on to TikTok. I can't thank you enough. It went viral on TikTok. The sister put it out there. Then the CEO came in and tried to give some kind of crazy apology that wasn't flying with anybody. All of a sudden, all these moms are starting to just throw away all the kite baby gear. And so the CEO came out a second time trying to offer another apology. Well, I don't think it worked. It was an epic failure. So I'm starting here because, y'all, it is on the ballot, not necessarily kite baby, but what women are dealing with, what moms are dealing with. We're on the ballot. I think about my 29-year-old daughter. I think about all of her friends. Y'all, women, we're on the ballot. I think about all my friends, my sisters, my nieces, my great nieces. We are on the ballot. So let me tell you what happened. CNN said that Kite Baby proposed a remote option. The employee proposed a remote option for her job. But given that her role was largely on site at the time, they felt that they did not feel that the proposed plan would fulfill the responsibilities of her current position. They told her that they understood her situation, informed her that her job would be here if she wanted to return. This is after all the mess, all the mess. So, y'all, the CEO, by the way, they're in Texas. Did I tell y'all that? I know I did, but I just wanted to repeat that again. It's a baby clothing company. Again, they have issued 2 apologies. In late December, Kite Baby worker Marissa Hughes and her partner adopted a baby boy who had been born only after 22 weeks of gestation, who was barely over a pound at birth. So Marissa wrote on her GoFundMe page asking for crowd funds to help with the NICU expenses and the adoption and legal fees and all that. But when she requested work time off, they said no, and then they fired her because they wanted her to say she was only going to take 2 weeks off and then to sign a contract saying that she would stay with the company for 6 months. What? So, y'all, we got flaws. We got all kinds of things that's happening in here. So, I want to hear from y'all why you think I believe it's on the ballot. So put it, go in here, go. Y'all already heard me say women's rights. And then of course I spent yesterday, y'all, I'm loving my Mondays. I'm still working, but I'm loving my Mondays. I spent yesterday doing some critical thinking around this. And I started asking myself and others, why is this on the ballot? Without it being Kite Baby on the ballot, but why are issues such as this one on the ballot? So I came up with some questions, y'all. Y'all know me by now. I came up with some questions because I'm pretty nosy these days. And here's my first question. What are the ethical considerations involved in denying a remote work request for an employee with a baby in the neonatal intensive care unit, NICU? So that's my question I put out here. And I started thinking about all the women who are adopting babies. I'm thinking about all the new legislation that's out there where women do not necessarily have rights over their bodies, and now women are saying, okay, well then I'm gonna just put my child up for adoption. But there's some rules that seem to be a little muddy with some companies and corporations and organizations when it comes to how they're going to treat the women who did not actually have a C-section or a vaginal delivery, but they adopted. And let's say this baby is a pound or less, or this baby needs special attention. What then? What type of rules or legislation that need to be in place? And how then do we as constituents and voters pay attention to those types of things? I'm not done. I'm not done. What's up, Latrice Jones? So I have another question. I have another question as to why Kite Baby should be on the ballot. Not the company, but what happened with Marissa. Examining the company's stance on work-life balance and support of employees facing difficult circumstances provides insights into its organizational culture. So even now, we need to start paying attention to these companies and to the culture that's at place. So, Yvonne, I know you want to hear. Y'all know I got really nosy lately. So I started looking up other countries and their policies. Y'all, the UK, say what y'all want to. But do you know that they get like 6 months? And they can choose to split it back and forth with their partner, with somebody else who's helping to care for their child. Say, what? In some cases, they get an entire year off and they still get paid, full pay. Yes. And then their insurance and how their insurance flows. Y'all, listen, the United States, um, I'm proud to be an American. I am. Uh, with that being said, we have some changes, but our voices need to be heard. We cannot, and I believe Laura mentioned this last week during the town hall meeting. We can't talk about something and then go hibernate. We have to stay on it. We have to stay on it. We have to keep having that conversation because the moment we stop talking about it, people move on to something else. But I have another question. Yes, I do. When we're talking about Kite Baby and Marissa, who was terminated because her child was in NICU. To what extent do the company's actions align with societal expectations regarding family support and employee rights, especially during critical times? And I put this out here. I wanted to think about our societal expectations. What do we expect? What do we expect? Y'all, I don't know if you've seen the viral video on Instagram, TikTok. I think it's everywhere at this point, where a young lady was in a Walmart and it was freezing outside. Now she got on her sweater, her boots, and her hat and everything, but the child had only a diaper. No top, no shoes, no socks, no pants, no blanket, nothing. So people started buying one mama, y'all know black mamas. Black mama's like, she was taking the tags off there in Walmart, putting the hoodie on the child. Now the woman ended up getting arrested, was sent to jail, I guess. I'm following the story as it's unfolding. The child, I think, is in some sort of protective custody right now. But even with that, when we're talking about societal expectations, what do we expect? And do we have those expectations across the board? I hope y'all are following me. I hope you all are following me because these things, believe it or not, are on the ballot. Good morning, Judy. I see you. Here's another question. Could the company have implemented alternative solutions such as temporary remote work arrangements or compassionate leave to address the employee situations without resorting to termination? Is that possible? Should there be blanket legislation, blanket rules, blanket laws for things such as this nature, especially when everything seems to be remote anyway? And another question, what impact might this incident have on the company's reputation and public perception, especially in the context of women's rights and family support? I'm not done. Does the incident raise questions about workplace policies, specifically those related to remote work, compassionate leave, and support for employees facing challenging family circumstances? So now it goes beyond just a child. It looks at family circumstances as a whole. Should there be something written? Now, we know today that not only the women are the ones who remain at home, but also men. And then we also have same sex couples who are also married and adopting. So, should the rules reflect that here in America? But I'm not done. I have more questions. How might the company address and rectify the situation to mitigate harm to the affected employee and rebuild trust with this workforce and the public? I'm not done. In what ways does this incident contribute to the broader conversation about women's rights in the workplace? And what changes or discussions might it prompt within the company and the industry? I have one final question. What role, if any, should government or regulatory bodies play in ensuring that companies uphold employee rights and support during challenging personal situations? The reason I lay these questions out, and I'll do a article post on my blog later today, but the reason I lay these questions out, and I want us to slow walk this, I see you, Lori, I want us to slow walk this, is because these things are on the ballot. They're on the ballot today in New Hampshire. Yeah. This is happening, and we need to pay attention. We said it before. We said it on Thursday. Laura and I were talking about it. I also said it last Wednesday. Just because this is happening in Texas and with Kite Baby, the company that happens to be in the area of Texas, does not mean this will not cross over to other cities, states, and companies. So we have to pay attention somehow, some way. We cannot just ignore what's happening to someone else and start paying attention to what's happening here in our neighborhood. Marion says, y'all know I got to wear these glasses now. I went to go get my eyes checked out. And the man said, your eyes have really changed over the last year. Are you on the computer a lot? I said, all day, every day. I'm doing all this research. He said, well, you're going to have to give your eyes some breaks. So I'm waiting on some new glasses to come in. I think I still like my frames. I just really want the lens. Marion says, women are on the ballot because they are trying to take us back to a time when we didn't have a voice or a vote. There's that, and we have to pay attention to these things. We absolutely have to pay attention to these things. So back to CNN, the first to report, and Kite Baby, again, it's a company out of Texas, is baby clothing. Here there was a mom who adopted a child in NICU, and they terminated her. They terminated Latrice Jones. You know I'm trying, sister. I'm trying. They terminated her. Y'all, on side note, I was on Instagram, and one of my faves, I can't think of his name. I see his face, but I can't think of his name. He made a post yesterday. He said, how many of you had on your report card all your life, they talk entirely too much? And he asked, what are you doing today? And it was just amazing to see all the comments on the post. And I said, I had it on my report card from pre-K till I graduated from high school. She just talks entirely too much. And that's what I do. I just talk. Kim Edmondson says, I'm not sure I want the government dictating company policies, but I do think there should be employee protection in challenging situations. So here's my question, Kim, back to you. Maybe not having the government, and I agree with that, dictating company policies, but should there be some type of legislation on companies that they have policies that reflect the people, their mission, their vision, and making sure that the people are protected. Maybe I'll say it that way. Let me know your thoughts on that. Y'all, I fact checked this. Moving on, I fact checked this. First 3 years of the Biden-Harris administration. Y'all, and I checked it out one by one all day yesterday. Over 14 million jobs added. Now, granted, let me add to this. These 14 million jobs are also those that were that had gone away during COVID but came back. But then there was even additional jobs on top of that. So over 14 million jobs added. Remember that when you go to the polls. Historically low unemployment. Again, I was following that trend, digging deep into that. That's fact. It's a fact. 3 of the strongest years ever for small business creation. It is indeed fact. It barely inches over the Clinton administration, but the Clinton Gore administration, but it's there. That's fact. Fought to cancel 137 billion, that's with a B, student loan debt and debt. I said death. Ooh, no, debt, and deliver relief to over 3.7 million Americans. That is indeed fact. Now, some people are saying, how do we know? How do we know? If you Google it and research it and dig into it, you will see list of names, because that's public information, because it's coming from the federal government. It's there. You may just see initials, or you may see the first name and last initial, or first initial and last name and state. That's how it is. Jackie said, if mom was dressed for the weather, baby would have been too. That's what everyone was saying on that. I'm like, I'm missing something here. What is happening here? That's neglect, and mom needs either jail or help. And I wondered the help part as well. Signed the Inflation Reduction Act into law, lowered drug and health care costs. Let me get my words together. Capped the cost of insulin at $35 per month for seniors on Medicare. A record number of Americans having health insurance. Historic funding for HBCUs, and I looked at that. That is a fact. Signed the American Rescue Plan. Signed PACT Act into law for veterans and their families. Signed the first major gun safety legislation in nearly 3 decades. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson confirmed as the first Black woman on the Supreme Court. appointed judges that reflect the full diversity of America, signed executive orders protecting reproductive rights, signed the CHIPS and Science Act, signed the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, signed the Respect for Marriage Act, established the first ever White House of Gun Violence Prevention, established the first ever White House Initiative on Women's Health Research. Every day this week, more facts will be coming out. I will make sure I fact check them before I share them with anyone else. Kim Edmondson says, yes, I agree with that. Ensure there are policies for employee protection. I see you, MK Walker, and I see you, Hester. Good morning. So, y'all, today is New Hampshire. It is New Hampshire. First off, breaking news, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis ends his Republican presidential campaign, but he endorsed the previous occupant. I didn't get that. I don't get that at all. So this is all politics. This is all politics. So he got out. Now here's my analysis, okay? He was second. He came in second after the former guy in Iowa. Normally the person that comes in second stays. Now, again, the former guy received 51% of the votes within 36 minutes. So we really don't know the real number because some people walked away, okay? And then we had Ron DeSantis, who had 21%. And then we had in third, Nikki Haley, who had 19%. Ron DeSantis left. And I thought, that's just the oddest thing. So I started doing my own analysis to get some feedback and some insight into this. So, and I shared this a little bit on Thursday. That's really the two, Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley took pretty much half, okay? And then the former guy had the other half. And that was only 5% who voted in the caucus in Iowa, okay? So I was like, that's too soon. That's too early. What's up with this? So when I look into this a little bit further, I realized that, are they throwing stuff for Nikki Haley? What are they throwing for Nikki Haley? Kim Edmondson said Ron ran out of money. I think he did too. But it was still odd because the Koch brothers could back him up and support him. But instead, they're backing up Nikki Haley even before Ron DeSantis did his exit. So, y'all, we have New Hampshire today. And before I go on with New Hampshire, I need to share this with all of you. Y'all, they are in need. Everybody, when it comes to Super Tuesday, and that's just March 5th, that's only a month away, a little bit over a month. But y'all, they need poll workers. They need poll workers. So we're going to play this video. If Isaiah can cue that video for poll workers, we need poll workers, y'all. Pay attention. Pay attention.
Ready to help America vote? Working the polls on Election Day is a great way to strengthen our democracy right in your own community. Poll workers set up polling places, check in voters, and answer questions, and show us how to use voting machines. It's important. Any voter can file an application to become a poll worker, and most poll workers get paid. Because right now, America needs more election workers to volunteer. Learn more at helpamericavote.gov. So, y'all, you can go to powerthepolls.org/news in motion. We are a partner with this organization. Isaiah, if you can pop up that link, please, powerthepolls.org/news in motion. They are needing election workers. They are needing election workers. They are begging people to come out and to support that and to be a part of that. So, y'all, the New Hampshire primary is today. The Biden administration decided they weren't going to get in there. They wanted to start with South Carolina as their kickoff, which is February the 5th. Now, that was party politics also. But New Hampshire was like, we disagree with this. So we're going to do a ballot for the Democratic nominees anyway. And we're just not going to put your name on the list. So if y'all see that so-and-so won the Democratic primary in New Hampshire, it's all okay. It's all okay because Biden's name's not even on there. I guess you can write him in if you want to, but it's party politics. even with that, everyone, I would say to you, pay attention, pay attention. All right, the Supreme Court backed President Biden with the U.S.-Mexico border when it comes to Texas. They're like, take down those wires. You got to take that down. I talked about this a little bit last week, and it pains me to talk about this. Oh, my God, it pains me to talk about this. But I want to be fair and balanced. Fani Willis. Woo, this is what's being reported. Allegations against Georgia prosecutor Fani Willis may have already damaged the case against Trump. Lead prosecutor in Trump Georgia case paid for at least 2 airline trips with Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis. Prosecutors in the Georgia Trump case had a tense exchange about racism with the defense email. These are emails that are bringing this out. Fani Willis and this election interference, the judge will hear a hearing in February, on February the 15th to be exact. Fani Willis now accuses the prosecutor's estranged wife of interfering with Trump election case. No, girl, you was with her man. She ain't playing that. So there's so much happening. And so here's my question to all of you. Should it matter that she had a little side something going on with the man she paid $635,000 for this case? Does that matter? Or is it that there was election interference and stuff that was happening in Georgia? I really want to hear y'all's spot on this. I know, just talking to people, my family who lives in Atlanta, I guess people are just upset like, girl, why? You probably had one of the strongest cases, but now everyone's focused on you and what you doing and not on the case at hand. So let's talk about it. Kim Edmondson says, that's so messy. It is so messy. And I don't want it to be messy, but it's messy. It's messy. It's messy. So let me know y'all's thoughts on this. Should it matter? Should it matter what she's doing in her personal life? Now the question is, and I got to pull this one back up. The question is, with the airline tickets, who paid for those? Did this money? Please tell me the money didn't come out of the city or the state's account. Please tell me that didn't happen. Please, I just hope that didn't happen. So y'all, let's just talk. Let's just talk a little bit. Let's talk about that, because it could interfere with the election. It could. All right. Next up, and it was shocking news when I saw this on yesterday, but Dexter Scott King passed away yesterday. 62-year-old son of civil rights leader icon died at his home in Malibu, California. His wife, Leah King, said in a statement that he died peacefully in his sleep. The third of King's 4 children, he was named for the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama, where his father first served as pastor. He was just 7 years old when his father was assassinated in 1968. So we just want to be praying for that family. Marion said it shouldn't matter. We're talking back to Fani Willis. It shouldn't matter, because if she was a man, they would have given him kudos. Well, there's that. That's a way of looking at it. And Yvonne Gardner said it's messy. All right, y'all, the inspirational message. Y'all, this was all happening on a Tuesday. I would love to hear y'all's feedback about that's happening Tuesday as well. But y'all, I've been reading this book, God is Able. This is the anniversary edition from Priscilla Shire. It's amazing. It's amazing. In this book, I was reading yesterday, and the Ephesians 3:20 and 21 is in here, where it talks about, I'm trying to pull it up so I can quote it correctly. Now unto him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly beyond all we ask or think, according to the power that works within us, to him be the glory in the church and in Christ Jesus to all generations, forever and ever. Amen. For those of you just tuning in for us with us on the first time, inspirational message are normally taken from the Christian Bible. I always like to just share that with all of you that we do it that way. Well, she talked about bringing your it to God, whatever it is. And this is the chapter that she talks about time. And she said, bringing your it. What is your it? Bringing that to the table. But then she says something that just stopped me in my tracks yesterday. She said, let's just deal with the word now out of that entire passage. Now. So, right now, she talked about the day, the time, the place, the situation, whatever you're dealing with now. She gave an illustration of her young son who was pulling a piece of pizza um, that were the triangle shapes, but how he pulled it from the top part out. So everything just kind of like slid off from that tip. And she said it ended up in his lap. And she said she started thinking about that and realized, there's a message here. That at that tip is where our now is. And what we're trying to do in life is to get to the thicker side, the whiter side, which is the crust, which we love that piece because it's all this bread. So as she's explaining this in this book, I started having this visual. I said, wow. I said, we bite off that tip first. I never eaten the crust side first. Was eating all the cheese and the pepperoni and the sausage and the green peppers and the mushrooms and everything else that's on there. I'm eating that first. And I don't use a fork and knife with a pizza. Yeah, to me, it's hand food, so I'm picking it up with my hands. And so we eat from that tip first. And I thought about this. I said, wow, Priscilla, you just messed me up. We're looking at the now. That's the immediate. But why aren't we looking at the other side? Asking, like, God, how do I get to that side? What does that look like? How many bites do I have to take? How many steps do I have to take to get there? And what does that just look like? Davia says it's not just a good look. She blew it. Oh, we back on to Fonnie Willis. I agree with you, sis. I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. And side note, and I'll get back to that pizza for a moment because I think I can connect these two. The other thing, David, when I think about that, and no one likes to hear this, but it's true. There's some things we just can't do, and no, it's not fair, but we just can't do some things, and we need to think about that because her legacy could end up on, girl, you blew it, instead of ending up on, girlfriend took him to the cleaners and he ended up behind bars, or girlfriend made this very clear and things were in place and some things were exposed about the former guy, but yet she could be ending her legacy on something like, for a trip with a dude, for a relationship with a dude. Really, this is what we're doing? And then it diminishes who we are as powerful Black women, or will try to diminish. It doesn't diminish, but it could try to diminish it. So I'm gonna tie this into this pizza. So even with that, here's an immediate, I want this man, if that's her thoughts, I don't know. Or I'm gonna hire him, or I'm gonna hire them, and I'm gonna give them the most expensive piece of the pie from the budget because this is now. This is right now. This is happening right now. So that's that now. But it says, now unto him who is able to keep us from falling. So even from that now, we got to say, well, what's happening later on today? What steps can I take now to turn this around? Because even with her, thank you, Davey, I'm going to make her my devotional. Even with her, how can I turn this around? How can I come out and share my story, give a sincere apology? Everybody else apologizing. To give a sincere apology. How do I get with the sisters and say, y'all, I'm gonna need your help? Because sisters will ride at dawn. Like, we riding at dawn, where we meeting? Because we're gonna back you up. But help us back you up. So now unto him who is able to keep us from falling. The now, what's ever happening right now. And I want y'all to think about that now. And I'm really using the same illustration out of this book, God is Able. Looking at that now, what's your now moment? Is your now moment you're sick? Is your now moment you have a pile of debt? Is your now moment you have a brand new opportunity? Is your now moment that you're about to get married? Is your now moment that your marriage is about to fall apart? Is your now moment that that you're helping out with your elderly parents? Is your now moment you just got some devastating news? Whatever is your now, I want you to think about it. I want you to mark it. I want you to write it down in a journal. After you've written that down, I'm asking you, and this is not in the book, I'm asking you to write a prayer to go along with it, asking God to help you access the authority that you have within you to deal with your now, to deal with that circumstance, to deal with that situation. Although it may be painful, I need to deal with my now. I need to come into reality with my now. What's my now action? What does that look like? How do I progress? How do I push through? Who are my confidants that I can share with and say, can you hold me accountable in this now moment? Now unto him who is able to keep us from falling. So if we want to be kept from falling, what are we going to do? Now, I'm going to give a twist here. Well, maybe you have to fall. I know y'all didn't want to hear that. But maybe in that falling, which we think one way of falling, but God may think something different with falling. I need you to come down just a little bit so that I'm able to connect with you. I'm able to deal with you. What's up, Devontae? I'm able to connect with you. You're able to hear me now because you're no longer up here without me. I had to bring you down here so that we can connect again. Hi, my name is Jesus. Remember me? Remember the times I pulled you out of the following 39 things, the following 390 things, the past 3,900 things, the past 390,000 things. So I need to bring you back to reintroduce myself to you to help you understand that I got you there and I'm ready to get you there again. And I love in her book, y'all, she says this, and I heard this from Jamal Bryant. He said it and gave her credit, where she says, Lord, please do this or do something better. Hello, somebody. Lord, do this or do something better. We have in our mind what we want, but God is like, I don't know if that's what I have for you. You can go that route, but you're going to be disappointed. But we're so determined to get there where God has to pull us back. Now unto him who is able to keep us from falling. Now, what is your now? What is your now? Seriously, y'all. That thing wrecked me. And I've read this book. I read her first, this is her 10-year anniversary copy. Now unto him who is able to keep us from falling. So here's something I fought. I fought like crazy. I was like, Jesus, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this, but I'm doing it. In this election season, and one of our previous members of our congregation, her name is Linda, she always would say to me, she's like, you have a prayer superpower. Now, I don't pray any differently than anybody else. But I heard her voice the other day when I was fighting God on something. I mean, I was fighting God, like, no, I'm not doing this. Well, in this election season, a piece is missing for me, and that piece is praying. So, what I'm going to do is formalize an intercessory presidential general election prayer group. I'm still working on what it looks like because I'm waiting on God to give me every step of it. It's going to culminate in October as a prayer summit, where we will gather for 24 hours and pray. So just stay tuned. I'm still fighting it. So if I call you and ask you to help me, please don't tell me no. Okay? Please don't tell me no. This is we all volunteering. Please don't tell me no. Now, if you don't have a prayer ministry or you don't want to pray, and we're not going to pray. Let me be very clear. We're not going to pray that X gets into the office or X doesn't get into the office. That's not what we're praying. We're praying for the manifestation of vision. We're going to be praying for the manifestation of the truth. We're going to be praying for people, for the onions to be peeled back so that we can see the truth. For the truth is going to set us free. We're going to be praying for clarity of measures on the ballots. We're going to be praying for the truth and the clarity of those running for office on the ballot, but we will not be praying that somebody gets in or somebody gets out. We're not going to be praying that. We're going to ask God to do what God is going to do. All right, y'all, that's all I have for today. This is Gail Dudley. This has been News in Motion. We need y'all to do us a favor. Please share. It don't have to be this one. You can just share News in Motion and say, hey, will you subscribe to Gail Dudley's YouTube? And that's youtube.com/Gail Dudley. Will you subscribe? Will you follow and like News in Motion page? As y'all notice, I've been putting a lot of information out there now to keep y'all in the loop for some headlines, because we're not necessarily giving you headlines every day. And yes, praying for the integrity of the process. Did I get the snow? Girl, that was just a little teaser out. There's some snow out there. It's gone now, but there was some snow. But that's not, I want a blizzard. I want the heavy kind of snow that we can make snow angels in. I want the heavy kind of snow where we can have a serious snowball fight. Okay? That's the kind of snow I want. I said it. Yes, I said it. Jackie said, girl, God can use our failing to teach us things we need to learn. Absolutely. Absolutely. I noticed that many people come on the last 5 to 7 minutes for the inspirational message, and y'all email and say that. And I'm glad y'all do. And some of you have been asking, girl, you're going to do a Bible study. You're going to do, well, we're going to start with this prayer thing that I was fighting God against. Because I was like, I ain't doing that, Jesus. He's like, yeah, you are, Gail. And we just kind of go back and forth. But I have a love for this. This is a calling. But civic engagement overall is my purpose, is to advocate and to teach people advocacy and to give y'all the truth. And I'm glad we have this platform that we've massaged over. We're almost 4 years old. We've massaged over the last few years. So anyway, until tomorrow, it is going to be workshop, Wednesday wisdom, not workshop, but Wednesday wisdom. We're going to break down some things you want to come and hear, because we're going to take some stories apart and we're going to put wisdom on them. So, hey, all right, y'all, I'm out of here. Stay well. And remember, make some bold moves. We're out.
News in motion.